Dear friends, let us pray for the war between Russia and Ukraine to stop, to end. Christians are a majority in Russia. 50% of people believe in the Lordship of Jesus Christ in some form. In Ukraine, almost 100% of their people confess Christianity. Jesus never fought any wars. He never taught people to fight wars. He said, those who try to win by the sword would die by the sword. And that is historical. We all know that war leads to tragedy, war leads to famine, war leads to destruction. Russian man Leo Tolstoy, who was a war veteran who saw wars, became a Christ follower, and he wrote the famous book War and Peace. I don't know if you people have read it. I have read it, and it describes in graphic detail the evil of war. There is no war that is holy. There is no holy war, because war by definition is unholy. Why do I say so? Every religion makes a difference between the sacred and the profane, good and evil, holy and unholy or sinful. And all the religions agree that life is holy, life is precious. The Bible in particular agrees that life is holy. If life is holy, somebody who destroys life or something that destroys life, how can that be holy? That's why, even if you look at death rituals, there is some kind of unholiness attached or impurity attached to death in every religion. It was there among Jewish people. If somebody touched a dead body or even a coffin, they would become impure to enter into God's presence inside the temple. It is there among Hindus. If there is a funeral or a place where people have died, Hindu people, before they come into their home, they would take a bath to cleanse themselves of impurity. It is there in Christianity also. Death is considered as the final enemy. Jesus defeated hatred. He defeated evil. He defeated all forces of darkness upon the cross. And finally, he defeated death, the last enemy. Death is not a good thing, as some people think. They think that if they kill somebody, they are taking them into some better place. If they kill themselves, they are taking them out of some torture or a place of torture or suffering and going into some better place. These concepts are not religious concepts. These are concepts that people who were against religion, the seculars, who wanted to question the precepts of religion, invented. So in their view, death is a kind of escape into some bliss. If you kill somebody else, you're taking them into a better place. If you kill yourself, you are taking yourself into some better state. These are not biblical ideas. That is why Bible, Christianity, and even some other religions do not promote euthanasia. Euthanasia is mercy killing. So death is always associated with unholiness. Death is associated with sin. Death is associated with the profane. Death is considered as the enemy of good. And that is why Bible, Christianity, and Jesus never endorsed euthanasia. That is why Jesus himself was a non-violent person. He did not like killing and getting killed. His disciples taught that Jesus needed some weapons to win against the Jewish religious hierarchy first, establish himself as the Jewish king, and then to win against the Roman Empire. But that was not Jesus' plan. That was not God's plan. Jesus did not come to kill. He said, "Thief comes to kill, steal, and to destroy. I have come so that you may have life and life in abundance." See, there is this distinction going on there between life and death. Death in that statement in John chapter 10 and throughout that chapter is a kind of evil. And life is exalted above death as something that is holy, something that is sanctified. That is why Christians are against abortions. They equate abortions with murder. And then they say that you are murdering little babies. And it is sin. It is evil. So on the one hand, Christianity or Christian people are so conscious of life that they do not like euthanasia, they do not like abortions. They do not like the suffering old man or old woman to die by euthanasia. And they do not want or do not like people aborting and killing their little babies. They also say that if you commit suicide, it is something evil, like Judas did. He betrayed Jesus. He was so much overcome with guilt that he ended his life. He lost the love for his life because of what he did, the evil that he did by betraying Jesus into the hands of those cruel people who would eventually kill him. Whether he did it with full realization or not, he understood that he does not deserve to live, and he died. He committed suicide. He died by suicide. Hitler also died by suicide. He was a socialist and he was a Christian, but when the Allied forces approached him and when he understood that he would be tortured, he killed himself. In the Bible, we see King Saul, the first king of Israel, he also killed himself. All those people that people generally associate with wickedness and evil and being like tyrants have in some form admired death. They would either admire killing others or they would admire killing themselves. It's a kind of setting free. The kings of Rome, if you look at that, all the emperors of Rome, and particularly the emperor who wanted to kill all Christians, and during whose time Paul and Peter and others were martyred, He enjoyed seeing death, seeing people getting killed, Christians getting killed. Bible does not endorse that view. Jesus in particular does not support that view. He is a life giver, not a death giver. Of course, there are instances in the Bible where God defended his people by sending certain plagues, by sending certain sufferings and adversities into the lives of those who were harassing them, torturing them, tormenting them. And God himself wiped out a lot of people, killed a lot of people. That is a different action. That is to remove unholiness and cruelty. It was God who did it, not people. Now here we have a group of people who call themselves Christian. They are Russian people. And we have another group of people, that is Ukrainian people. They also call themselves Christians. There is Jesus inside the people who confess Jesus as Lord in Russia. The same Jesus is inside the grieving and dying Ukrainians. How would Jesus feel if Jesus has to kill Jesus in another person? People are created in God's image. And when we kill a person who deserves life, we are mocking, ridiculing, and questioning God's image inside people. That's why abortion is wrong. Euthanasia is wrong. Suicide is wrong. If all these things are sinful, wrong, evil, against God, against life, then how can war be in favor of God, in favor of life? War is the thing that creates a maximum destruction of life.